Hi and welcome to my channel, Work to AFK, where I play and review games on a more of a casual basis. So really it's someone who doesn't really have hours and hours upon time to be able to play games. So in between work, in between social life, just being able to play on a little bit. Today I'm going to be unboxing the Nintendo Switch 2, and I've got a few other accessories as well which came in the post this morning, so I'll open those in just a moment. And I must say I'm a massive fan of Nintendo from being a little kid. Had an N64 all the way through to a Wii, to a Wii U, to a Switch, and now obviously a Switch 2 as well, including all the sort of Game Boys, Game Boy Advance and all that good stuff. And I must say I find Nintendo's sort of gaming to be quite casual, quite laid back. You've got some really nice cozy games such as Animal Crossing, games like Pokemon, which can be quite competitive but also quite relaxing as well. And I think Switch 2 coming out recently. I just want to think back to the original Switch when it came out, and I thought how great it was, that hybrid way of being able to work, that you can have it plugged into your TV and be able to play as you would normally on a console, but also having the option just to undock and play handheld. And it's really good at if you're kind of sharing a house and someone wants to watch the telly, you can just undock and then go and play your game somewhere else. And it continued that game as well, as in just stop and carry on. You can just move away and go to a different room or carry on in the same place. But also if you want to take your game in on holiday, just pack it up, put it in a little sort of container thing and take it with you, so you can still do that whilst you're away on holiday. And even if you've got a bit of spare time in between work, or as I've seen quite recently, people actually bringing their Switches into work and playing in lunchtime together, I think it's just really nice that Nintendo's sort of gaming consoles allow for that sort of freedom. So without further ado, let's get unpacking what we've got today, which is the Switch 2. The sooner I get it unpacked, the sooner you get to see what it's all about. I'm going to keep it quite casual, keep it very much just what I think of it so far, that initial thought. No kind of looking at the specs or the hardware or any of that kind of mumbo jumbo. It's just looking from a casual point of view. The sooner I get that done, the sooner I'll be able to get it set up, and then sooner I'll be able to get playing on some of the games. And I think one of the first games I'm going to play is definitely Mario Kart World. So let's have a look at what we've got. So I've got 4 boxes that arrived, so let's have a look at what's in box number 1. I'm guessing, because it's smaller, it's probably going to be the controllers. There we go, that's what I like about Nintendo's boxes. So we've got a spare Joy controller and a charging pack to go with it, and a Switch controller Pro, I think they're called. So that's more when I want to play more of an intense game and stuff like that, whereas these, definitely want these for when I'm playing more multiplayer games, so people can have a go at the same time as well. A little bit later, no doubt, when I play Mario Kart, the wife's going to be using this to play. Okay, we'll put those to one side and we'll have a look at those again in a moment. Another item as well I got is the camera. So this is a new feature on the Switch 2, that we can have a camera plugged in. And what I really like about this is the fact that when you're playing things like Mario Kart, you can see people's faces alongside their character. So I think that's really good when you're playing together, whether it's virtually or whether you're in the same room. You can see their reactions, which I think is a really cool idea. So I didn't go for the official one, I've gone for the Hori version, but this is the Piranha from Mario, which I think is pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to opening that and using that. Next box, let's have a look at this one. Ah yeah, so I've got the micro SD card. So I did see that it needs different SD cards for the Switch 2 compared to what we used to have with the Switch. So I ordered one of those, so that way all the games that I've got stored on my old Switch and any new ones can all be saved on there. And of course, another item is the carrying case. I think I'm going to be using it quite a lot. Be putting that in there and certainly taking it to work and showing it off to a few of my colleagues at work for sure. It's also good to have it somewhere safe if I want to carry it around. So yeah, excellent. I'm guessing this last box is going to be the Switch itself. So let's give it an open. Here we go. So we have the Switch 2 with Mario Kart as well. So I think it's a download code, so I'll have to download that later. It's not the actual physical cartridge. I'll have to download that in a bit. What I do, let's open this up first, and then we'll have a look at some of the accessories as well. Let's cut this open. Hopefully it doesn't fall out. No, good. So it's kind of a box within a box, which is always unusual. Okay, so I open that up. It's got the supporting material just there as well. Let me move you down so you can see a little bit more. Go. So open the box up. There we are. Got the main console itself here. So quite a bigger screen compared to the original Switch. Got a different sort of USB socket there. I guess in here is where you put the cartridges. That was actually quite easy to open. Power and volume. And at the base, see that's for the dock. You also got a kick base stand here as well, which if I remember from the demo comes out quite wide as well, which is excellent. So if I just put that down for a second. What's really good is if I keep that kickback stand, I can have it quite flat down or quite high up as well, which is pretty cool. So I quite like that feature. So if I want to play and have it on the table so others can see as well, have it like that. Okay, now a feature that I think we're all really excited about is definitely the Joy controls. So compared to the Switch, which you have to kind of slide them on and click them into place, these are magnetic. So I'm curious to see what that's like. So you've got the controller, feels very similar to the original Switch Joy-Con. Little side buttons there as well. And I think that must be, you can see, doing something. So that must be the way to unject it. So let's give it a go. Oh wow, that's quite a nice little snap, and trying to pull it and it's not coming off. So if I pull that, yeah, it basically pushes it off and can then release. That's actually really smooth action doing that. Cool. Let's pop the other one in. There we go. So yeah, that feels really nice. I think that was one of my big bugbears with the Switch, was how to undo it and push it back in. That, just being able to click it there, is so much nicer. Yeah, already really like that way. And one of the new features as well, on the right hand side, you've got that little C button at the bottom, which is more for the connecting part. So I think, if I remember rightly, that's to do with the camera, which I mentioned earlier, so you'll be able to use that later. So when I'm playing Mario Kart, we'll give that a go and see what we think. Let's put that down there. Let's see what else was in the box. Lots of packaging. Oh, got the Mario Kart World thing there. I won't flash that on live because I want the code for that. Some important information. Yeah, read that later maybe. HDMI cable. Oh, little covers for the Switch Joy-Cons as well. Let's have a look at those in a second. And then inside the box we've got that to put the Joy-Cons in, which is pretty cool. And there's no charging pack on this one, so the one that I've already bought has the the charging part. This one doesn't. Power cable, yeah, important. And of course then the actual dock itself. Okay, that's interesting. It's a lot thicker than the original Switch. I'll go and get my Switch down in just a moment to show you the comparison of those. Already that's thicker, which is good, because that was one of my problems with the original Switch. It used to get knocked over quite a lot, and when you've got cats, it's going to happen quite often as well. So I quite like that. Interesting. I think, yeah, backplate comes off, so you can do a bit of sort of cable management. Got the AC HDMI cable, so go there. And also there's a LAN socket as well if you want to put your internet on that one. That's pretty cool. And there's also what appears to be a fan, sort of built-in fan to keep the Switch cool when you're playing games as well. Excellent. Quite like that. It's pretty cool. Right, before we move on to the next one, that's the last things in the box. Let's have a quick look at these bits that came with Joy-Cons, because I'm curious as what that's about. So let's just undock the right-hand one. So yeah, Nintendo have supplied a nice strap to go on there then. I'm not quite sure, do you just push it on? Okay, put the bottom bit on first and then click it into place. Cool. And then very similar, pressing that just undocks it. So bottom in, click, cool. That's going to be really useful for those intense games of Mario Kart or certainly Super Smash Bros, so we're not throwing things around. Ooh, cool, excellent, like that, and then just nice and easy undock it. See, we went to go and slide it back in, doesn't need to. There we go. Cool. Right, let's have a quick comparison of the original Switch. So there we are, there's the original Switch. And there's the Switch 2 side. So already you can see the screen really bigger compared to the original one as well. Thickness wise, similar. But again, you can see that difference. Weight wise, I wouldn't say one's heavier than the other. I'd say they're about similar actually, which is quite nice as well. And I did read somewhere as well that the original Switch Joy-Cons will connect to the Switch 2 Joy-Cons as well. So if you've already got quite a few Joy-Cons, doesn't look like you're going to need some, unless of course you want the camera feature on every single controller that you're using. Cool, right, let's pop that in its dock to keep it safe. Go. I'll set that up in just a moment. So let's have a look at some of the accessories that came with it. So, quick look at the carrying case. So this is the official Nintendo Switch carrying case from Nintendo. With lots of stuff. Oh, okay. It's got screen protector and a wipe as well, and oh, looks like some sort of sticker. Of course, the zipper wall. So it's 2 zips. So not just one zip all the way around. And very similar to the original Switch actually, where you've just got the rest in place and then some places to put your cartridges. Interesting, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cartridge holders there, whereas I think the original had 12. But I think that's a sign of Nintendo going more digital with their digital download games instead of cartridges. So yeah, there you go. Let's have a quick look at what that looks like with the Nintendo Switch in. go, fits nicely like a glove. Nice and safe. And I quite like this little feature there that we've got the blue and the red, similar to the Joy-Cons as well. Okay, let's look at what else. I won't go into too much detail about the Joy-Cons, we've already kind of looked at those, but inside this box I would guess we have very similar. So right controller, left controller, and of course the straps as well, which is pretty cool. This was the sort of chargeable battery, so I normally get this when I've got a second pair of Joy-Cons. So my first pair normally stay on the Switch themselves, whereas the other pair stay kind of separate from when I have friends around to play. But because of that, they don't charge in the Switch when they're connected. So this is why I like to have this. So this has got like an internal battery built in. You can just plug it in here with the cable that's supplied, and then just slide your controllers. I keep saying slide, they don't need to slide, they just pop in, don't they now? There you go. So that could be just a normal controller for one person, but it'll keep it charged as well. Similarly, if I want, I can just unhook those, and if I've got more than 2 people, they could then have the little mini ones as well. There we go. Then we've got the Pro Controller. This I quite like to have, so if I've normally got the Joy-Cons plugged in on the Switch 2, I like to have the Joy-Con, also the Controller Plus, or Pro Controller as they're called, sorry, as a wireless controller. So if I'm playing more intense games such as like your Zeldas, this is quite nice to have while I've got it on the big screen as well. And it just feels nice. It's very similar to kind of like your Xbox controllers. It's quite big and light. So if you already got one of these on your original Switch, very similar, but there does seem to be a few buttons already that I've spotted. So there's a couple of little buttons here. Got your normal ones there, but yeah, you've got these 2 little buttons there. So I'm curious to find out what they're going to be used for. And of course, as with this, all the Switch 2 stuff, we've got this little C button, which is something to do with the camera. It feels quite nice actually. The buttons have got like a slightly different texture, almost like a rubbery texture, so your fingers don't slip on those. That feels quite nice. So I'll certainly be using that to play Mario Kart and beating my wife on that later. When I say beating my wife, I mean beating on Mario Kart. There we go. And last but not least, got the Piranha Plant camera. So let's have a look at this, because I'm quite curious to see how the camera works. And originally I was going to get the Switch official Nintendo one, which is the black one. I went for this version because it just looked cooler. It just feels like when you got your Switch there and have this alongside it, it's going to have a bit more character, whereas the black one just looks a bit boring really. Oh, okay. I'll be honest, it's a lot smaller than I expected, which I'm quite glad, and I'm sure my wife will be glad that it's not too big and in the way. So, came like that. You've got the USB-C cable. Whatever that is, some sort of cable. This bit, so you can plug it in the back to charge, and then plug the Piranha Plant in there. But with quite a lot of the modern sort of webcams, they've got this sort of pull-down feature, which I have no idea. Oh, there it is. There you go. So yeah, pull that down, so you can then rest that on top of your monitor, so it doesn't move, or your TV. Pretty cool. But it's got like a rubber base here as well, so when you're moving it, it's not going to wobble around so much, which is pretty cool. And let's have a quick look at the Piranha Plant camera itself. Interesting. Let's plug him in. Actually, let's give him his leaves first. There we go. plug them in, nice and smooth, and yeah, it's just flexible. So I can just flex it to wherever I want it to go. I'm guessing, if you look closely, there's some word in there, so I'm guessing that's the bottom of the camera. So I think I have to face him that way. So I've already got it the wrong way. There we go. And it seems to stay in place. You notice at the moment he's a little bit shy. I'm guessing just there we go. And we've got the camera. Quite like that as well for privacy. So if, not like I am, but if you think that someone's watching you when the camera's actually turned off, just pop it down and no one's going to see it. Nice little snap action there, very much like a piranha plant. Yeah, that's going to be quite interesting to see how that plays out later when I'm playing Mario Kart. So the idea is that when it's facing you, it will pick up your face and then it actually projects that onto the screen as well. If you're playing that virtually, even better. I also believe that this will go in the top of the Switch as well. So there was a USB socket there. I think I'll be able to plug him in there as well, have him facing that way. Which, yeah, looks cool, but I think really having a little pot plant does make more sense as well. But I'll be interested to see how far that camera captures, whether you need to have the camera quite close or whether it's something you can have that's probably not so further away. So yeah, there we go. That's the unboxing of a few of the Nintendo Switch 2 accessories and the Nintendo Switch 2 itself. Really looking forward now to getting it set up, getting played, and downloading all the data that's stored on there. So hopefully within an hour or so we'll be able to get playing some Mario Kart and be able to stream it with you, so you'll be able to see what the new Nintendo Switch 2 can do. Stick around later as well, so do follow this channel, because later we'll definitely be playing some more Mario Kart, some multiplayer Mario Kart. So I'll ask the wife to come down and play a bit, so that could be interesting. Yeah, let's see if she keeps riding off the edge of the track, which could be quite fun to watch anyway. So yeah, please do like and follow my channel, and there'll be much more videos along the way, but certainly the next couple of days there'll be quite a lot of Mario Kart play, and then some other games that I might download and play as well. Certainly looking at things like Hitman, and also No Man's Sky as well is probably something that we'll be looking at purchasing and downloading and playing. So yeah, stick around and hopefully see you in the chat. Thank you very much.